What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the differences between British and American refrigerators. You heard that correctly. Refrigerators. We're really getting quite specific here. I was actually kind of shocked when I even saw this video here that was about differences between British and American refrigerators, but the more I kind of looked at it, I was like, that's actually kind of fascinating that there could be any notable differences at all in this, everyday kind of household objects. I don't know, they're coming out with fancy refrigerators these days, but I'm not sure what exactly the major differences could be between two nations, like two pretty developed nations, America, Great Britain, refrigerators really somehow different? Why? In what ways? The more I think about it, the more I just want to know. It's going to drive me crazy. So, with that being said, let's take a look.
This is the fridge, a good old American fridge, or should I say, a freezer on top of a fridge. It is a mess inside. I just want to show you something that's inside my freezer that you won't find in most British freezers. So it's a special...
Wait, okay, so I thought for a second he was about to say that people in Britain do not have these kinds of refrigerators where there's a little freezer on top of the refrigerator on the bottom, but I think we both, Britain and America, has that. That would be kind of mind-blowing because you really do need a freezer, but there's something within the freezer that is different. Okay.
Show you something that's inside my freezer that you won't find in most British freezers. So it's a special ice making machine inside the freezer, and as you can see from this, you can either set it to automatic or not.
a special a special ice making machine. That is funny. Wow, I'm really getting to experience this from the other side today. Usually I'm looking at things really from a British point of view and getting to see it for the first time, but he's actually looking at his American refrigerator, and so it's funny to me. I'm getting to experience it. He's like, look at this incredible device located in the freezer. They call it an ice maker. It creates a. It's like, it's kind of funny. I kind of like it. But why wouldn't this be in British refrigerators? Wouldn't I guess the main thing is, wouldn't all refrigerator major manufacturers exist worldwide? Why would they not include something like this
inside the freezer? And as you can see from this, you can either set it to automatic or not. And let me tell you, this is the first time that my wife and I have been living alone together, and we've had one of these. And when I'm sitting alone in the living room at midnight doing, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, and that thing goes off, it scares the bejesus out of you.
That's true. That's actually true, even to this day. And I feel like now I'm not the only one who experiences this. The ice maker, when it dumps all the created ice, the ice it's created, the only mechanism they could come up with is that a latch opens and all the ice just dumps into a pile. It makes a big racket. It's a very random noise, you're really not prepared for, even if you've had a fridge for years, because you kind of think you're alone in the house, and then any kind of noise will kind of scare you. And that dropping of the ice in the fridge, he's not kidding. That really does scare you.
It starts making a mechanical sound accompanied by banging, so it's not dissimilar to the sound of thieves. But I have to say, with summer on the horizon, I am excited to use this to make iced tea and to simultaneously avoid all of the angry comments from British people. And if you've been watching this channel now for a while, you'll know that this ice-making machine is very much in line with America's obsession with ice cubes. Famously...
America's obsession with ice cubes. I didn't exactly know we had an obsession with ice cubes. I feel like I've seen other videos of his where he mentioned something about how Americans like to have ice in all of their drinks, whereas sometimes in Britain it's not always like that. But yeah, every American refrigerator has an ice maker. Many of them have that thing in the front where you can push your glass into a lever and ice will drop into it. I'm having trouble believing this isn't common in Britain, honestly. I feel like there's got to be, lots of modern refrigerators in Britain with ice making. I just am having trouble wrapping my mind around this.
Britain hasn't really embraced ice cubes like America has, even in hot summer months. So thank goodness they embraced air conditioning. But there's one other reason that American freezers are more likely to be equipped with ice making machines, and it has to do with size. As is a common theme on this channel, everything is much bigger in the United States, and that includes this refrigerator.
Really?
Just like the state of Alaska, it's been proven that this thing is 7 times larger than the UK. To be clear, this is just the freezer. There's a whole bigger section down below that's the main fridge. And on a side note, everybody now knows I do my videos in my pajama bottoms.
Right, but ignoring his pajama bottoms, American refrigerators are bigger than British refrigerators. Now I do need to wrap my mind around that for a second. Like, sure, there's a lot of stereotypical stuff that things in America are a lot bigger because we want big, shiny stuff. Our food portions are, in fact, bigger. Our McDonald's large fry is bigger, and soda are bigger. But the refrigerator? Why? I gotta Google something. I don't even know what I want to Google right now. I need more clarity on this. I have to look up British refrigerator. That's what it's come to. British refrigerator? This is where we're at. British refrigerator. Like images? British refrigerator? Huh. I need one that kind of is representative of like all of Britain somehow. Is this about right? These are very thin. But are these standard British refrigerators? That is the question. I feel like I need a British refrigerator manufacturer or something. Oh man, what do British people call the fridge? Fridge. Yeah. Man. British Refrigerator Company? British Appliance Company. No. British Refrigerator Company. True Refrigeration. This looks far too fancy. What fridges are made in Britain? Let me go back to images. I don't want to spend all day on these refrigerators, but man, like even if I open this up here, maybe, like even if we go with this, I don't know. Now I feel like I don't exactly know what a classic British fridge looks like. But if it's even anything like this, this makes me think one of these compartments is a freezer and one is a fridge. It certainly is a lot thinner, but it looks tall. I kind of just have to trust. I kind of just have to trust him on what he's saying in the video. That British fridges are smaller and don't always have a freezer or two compartments, or...
To be clear, this is just the freezer. There's a whole bigger section down below that's the main fridge. And on a side note, everybody now knows I do my videos in my pajama bottoms.
Right, so he seems to be implying that this is unusual. I'm not even joking. I'm really having trouble wrapping my mind around this. I wish he was showing a British fridge, because this all just seems normal to me.
In Britain, fridges of this height do exist, but like accurate Winston Churchill quotes, they are rare.
Really? Refrigerators of that height are abnormal? I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't even think his refrigerator is that big. I've seen refrigerators much, much bigger than that. So, wow.
The British... In fact, my experience growing up, and that of many other British people, is that the fridge is so low down that it fits under the kitchen counter.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for showing me this. Really? This size refrigerator? Sometimes people have this by their desk or in their garage as an extra fridge. But no, I had no idea. This looks like it has like a little freezer in the top part. Wow. That is 1/2 or 1/3 or 1/4 the size of a standard American refrigerator. Like, I can honestly say that. What the heck?
This might be accompanied by a frankly tiny freezer, in which you have room for a bag of frozen chips, a box of haddock, and some chalk ices, but then what more do you need?
What? I wonder if it costs a lot less money, or what's the reason for this? Like, do Americans on average really have that much more food and frozen goods that we need to store in our refrigerators? Or are people in Britain somehow surviving on much less food in their fridge and they're having to run to the grocery store every other day? Something is not adding up to me here. Or maybe I'm just the crazy one. Maybe it's like much more simple than I'm like making it sound, and I just don't get it.
And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, why the disparity in size? And it's because
Yeah.
the pandemic has been unkind to my waistline. Oops, I just remembered we're still talking about fridges. Well, there's a few reasons for this. Firstly, Americans tend to buy in bulk more than British people do. In fact, when I
Okay.
first moved here, I was stunned to find that people routinely brought home 25 bags of shopping.
Yeah, okay. I'm so glad he's actually answering like all the questions I'm asking, despite the fact that he cannot hear me. Go figure. Man, I'm glad he showed the British fridge. And apparently Americans just buy a lot more crap to keep in our refrigerators, which, of all the things said in this video so far, is probably the thing I'm least surprised about.
In just their boot trunk. Additionally,
25 bags of groceries. Yeah. Yes, he's not joking. For sure. Yeah, people will do that.
it's worth pointing out that Americans are more likely to store things like bread in the freezer, taking up space that Brits are less likely to use in this
Yeah.
manner. In Britain, our fridge-freezer combinations are typically smaller because, number one, we buy in smaller quantities, though admittedly on a more frequent basis. And number
Okay.
two, Britain doesn't have freedom. And so at this point, let's head back to the studio so that I can discuss one final but crucial point. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, wow, there's a whole other point. Oh my gosh. Like, there's not a ton of differences between the refrigerators, but the 2 or 3 differences between British and American refrigerators so far are enormous. Literally, the refrigerators in America are enormous in comparison, but these are like shockingly substantial differences. I really wasn't expecting this.
Put it with the other letters from Churchill's estate. So I want to finish this video by talking to you about 2 words. Deep freezers. We've all seen them. It's those freezers that you find in the vegetable section of some supermarkets where you open up the lid and the food comes up and down as opposed to in and out. I mean, it can still go in and out, but as opposed to a regular fridge which can't go up and down. Anyway, in the UK, the only time I saw one of these, in addition to the supermarket, was in my shared university campus kitchen. And the most enduring memory I have of that is I once put my jeans in it, and I haven't spoken to my dorm mates since. But in the US, I've noticed that deep freezers, particularly in larger family homes, do often crop up in people's kitchens, in addition to the type of fridge freezer that you just saw.
I don't know. I don't know if that's super accurate. Obviously, it depends on where you live, and his anecdotal experiences are going to be different than mine, but as an American growing up in America, I haven't particularly noticed too many deep freezers in people's houses. I've been inside people's houses who are not very wealthy. I've been inside people's houses who seem really well off, and they would certainly have been able to afford said deep freezer if they wanted, but they still didn't have it. Like, why would you have that? To store your ice cream? Like, what do you even need that for? To store all your extra barbecue chicken? Or no, I haven't personally noticed the deep freezers, especially in the kitchen. You might keep it somewhere else in the house if you had one. And still, I've never met someone who did. Maybe someone who hunted? Maybe if someone hunted and needed somewhere to store all of their, like, all the meat that they got from their hunting, then yeah, okay. But what I will say is many Americans, maybe most, have an entire second fridge located in their garage or somewhere like that. Somewhere in a different part of the house is a whole nother fridge to store even more stuff. A full-sized fridge but not a deep freezer. So there's some truth to this extra refrigerator, extra freezer stuff, but maybe a little different than what he's saying, in my experience anyway.
And I suppose it can be hard to imagine why anyone would want to freeze that much food. But not only do Americans buy in bulk more, when there's not a pandemic going on, they have housewarming parties, graduation parties, Thanksgiving. Basically, any excuse to have the whole family around every week.
That's true. It just sounds like from what he is saying, Americans just buy a whole lot more food and snacks and soda and stuff to keep, to basically hoard in our refrigerators. Makes us feel good. I won't deny that. I think that's totally accurate.
To fridges.
Oh yeah.
That's it for this episode. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok at @TheLawrenceBrown, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. An American refrigerator-sized shout out to all of my patrons who make...
Oh wow, pretty good. I really liked this video. I was surprised, genuinely surprised. I knew this video sounded interesting to me. It's so random. British versus American refrigerators? What could be the difference? Well, it turns out a lot of difference. By the way, this video was by Lost in the Pond, who is an amazing YouTuber. I enjoy his videos so much. I gotta give that a like. And there were some substantial, surprising differences. I didn't know that refrigerators were so tiny in Britain. That's right, I'm not gonna say refrigerators are gigantic in America. I'm gonna say I didn't know refrigerators were so darn small in Britain. That's right. Make them bigger. They need to be bigger. More. You need a second one in your garage. It needs to be twice as big. No, I mean, this is surprising to me. And the ice maker. The ice maker. Come on, just put an ice maker in there. Don't you want to cool down your drinks when you want? Doesn't that sound nice? I mean, why not? Plus, they come standard in all the refrigerators here. So you basically don't have a choice in the matter. They're going to force you to have a ice maker in your refrigerator. It's sort of a law, no, but it's definitely going to have one. I'm not kidding about that. And you definitely get used to it. I've had that access to the ice in the fridge since I was a little kid. So that's certainly something I assumed like every other country had. So that is genuinely surprising to me. I enjoyed this. I'm pleasantly surprised at how fascinating this very obscure topic is. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this reaction, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to British culture, stuff in Britain I've never seen or talked about before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.